I'm still waiting on the first mass sharding. That's a fucking dumb joke. Jesus.
That's just.
He's on the rooftop. Oh God. Oh no.
All right, thank you for salvaging that fucking dumpster fire. I appreciate it.
It's the reason we don't have any public transportation here in Texas.
Yeah.
The great sharding incident.
Oh yeah. Well, you know what they say. The only good guy who can stop a fucking I fucked that up. It takes a good guy with Qdoba to stop a bad guy with Qdoba. There we go.
I thought you were going to say sometimes to stop a bad guy with a good diet, it takes a good guy with a bad diet.
Thank you for shining all these turrets. Oh, and that's 3 poop jokes in a row. Wow. I'm sorry. I'm canceled.
Hitting our demos. Really just appealing to it.
When I tell people that I run this shitty podcast, this isn't what I had in mind, but I guess I'm here for it.
Hell yeah.
Just sound like morning zoo operators. Like, hey everybody, welcome to Feces Cast.
It's Chaz on the Bone Dog on 104.2.
Just
It's
wet air horn noises.
Yeah. Ew.
Dolphin attack.
Just like imagine the day that Avicii finally discovered what wind chimes were. And we're like, I'm gonna put this in everything.
Rest in peace, of course. Also,
Rip to a real
Rip,
one.
rip.
Oh,
Big
did
F,
y'all
big
listen
F.
to the album that they put out for him?
Oh yeah,
no.
every song as it's come out. Yeah.
Yep.
It is
It's
horrifying.
pretty sick.
It's
I mean, it's good because it's, who he is.
yeah.
But like all the songs have this really bitter taste to them because all the songs were like, I'll love you until I die, or man, you feel
fuck,
like
no.
heaven. Or there was a song literally called SOS. And it's like, buddy.
Oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. That's
When you
some
feel
serious Black
depressed,
Star
who
shit.
lifts you up? Oh no.
Sometimes your manager will fake your death and claim that it was natural causes. So I really can't wait like 30 years from now for people to be like, I was born in the wrong generation. This was real music, Dad. Wearing this
Listen,
fucking square-headed shirt.
I really, really hope that comes around for like Blink 182 and stuff. Like
It already
pop punk.
is. It already has happened.
Oh, there's Zoomers that are like super into like this is real music.
Oh, absolutely. Like
That's
they're
amazing.
like, oh yeah, commenting on Simple Plan videos, just wishing for a bygone era. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Psychic Dolphin Garage. I'm Kelton, and joining me today is my co-host
Zachary at Chillery LOL on Twitter and also on Facebook.
Follow him on Facebook, but more importantly, follow his girlfriend. She really enjoys that type of stuff. We have a special guest for us today. His name is
special.
Bo. Want to introduce yourself?
Yes, hello. Special guest. Oh, my heart. Oh, my. Be still, my beating heart. Hi. I'm at Schnedwob on the Twitter I never use. But it's my handle for more or less everything. So to quote Fred Durst, if you get your ass kicked, it's probably me on the other end of the line.
As usual, you guys can find me on That Kelton Guy pretty much everywhere. I'm not going to respond to anything, though, so why even bother? This week has been pretty interesting in the news, I would say. It's Pride Month, so there's a whole lot going on. And I guess the top story, at least on our social media feeds, mine specifically, was that X-Men Dark Phoenix had the worst Marvel opening ever. So the very thinly veiled allegory for people coming out or for race relations or for the various other things that has been used for as a messaging, people really aren't buying into it, which is fascinating to me.
Take that, SJW cucks.
Well, in a year where the Avengers Endgame wrapped up their whole saga, at least this phase of it, and it became the second highest grossing film of all time. And then Game of Thrones ended this year, and it broke records with 20 something million people watching it. The X-Men franchise is also wrapping up, and then it just ends on this just wet thud.
And surprisingly, that was not a Deadpool bit. It was just it was actually supposed to be one of their more serious films.
I mean, that's their fucking problem. It's, at the end of the day, like, it's still a fucking Marvel movie. Like, it's not gonna be that deep. Like,
which is sad because what we wanted from Caped Hero films was the depth that you get in the comic books or in some of the TV shows.
Yeah.
Bryan Singer is undoubtedly a monster and a pedophile, but he knew how to make a good X-Men movie. That's all I'm saying. Not saying you have to bring him back officially, but maybe as a ghost director or a script consultant.
We here
you just put him in a glass cage.
Bicycle montage do not support this. This is not our official stance. We are not affiliated. The opinions of this person do not represent the opinions.
No, but I think in mentioning Endgame earlier, you're really right. Like, and I mean, of course, I don't know the minds of every moviegoer in the fucking country or whatever, but I think, with Endgame, I feel like for a lot of people, that's probably superhero movies, at least for a while, busting their collective nut.
Absolutely.
So after that, I mean, why the fuck am I going to, go see, Jean Grey's not even like one of the fucking X-Men people like are into that much, like Wolverine's like their main guy, of course, and then you've got, second tier like, Jean Grey, Cyclops, whatever. And then
the Nolan Batman.
Yeah, and then you got Beast, who should be number one, but only Kelsey Grammer Beast. Because
hell yes,
he's just
absolutely
so aggressively sexy.
Look, we've already been disappointed by Sophie Jonas once this year. I wasn't going to pay to go to theaters and watch her fuck up something else.
That's what it all comes down to, is that they just don't trust Sophie Turner anymore.
Sophie Jonas, she's fucking married now.
Oh, my apologies. Sophie Joe Jonas Turner.
Nice.
He has to use that as his official name now so that people know who he is. I'm the Joe in Sophie Joe Turner. Huh?
Excuse me, you can call me Mr. Turner. Before I forget anything else, I should also just address a couple of things. The first and foremost is that I'm sure at least 4 of you, because there's only 4 of you that listen, have wondered why we aren't on Instagram. And that's simply because Instagram immediately banned us the second I tried to set up the account.
Jesus.
Literally got it set up, and then 4 seconds later, it was flagged for suspicious activity and taken down.
You gotta quit running your fucking VPN through Russia, man. That's they're cracking down on this shit. They're cracking down on this shit now. We don't want fucking another 4 years of Trump, and apparently fucking Silicon Valley libs think that's how we stop it.
Apparently, Psychic Dolphin Garage at dailystormer.com was the wrong email to use.
Oh, God.
But we're trying. So we've reserved the username, but we have no access to it. And to be honest, we aren't going to use that anymore. I mean, at this point, we might as well just try to become the biggest podcast on TikTok, because that's a truly undeveloped market.
Hit up LinkedIn. Let's make 2019. I know we're already fucking kind of pretty far into it, but let's make 2019 the year of weird leftist LinkedIn. I think it's time.
Hell yes, absolutely. Find our podcast on GeoCities now.
There you go. That's the fucking ticket.
I mean, I don't know what we would be putting on Instagram. Like, that's how Little Nas X got big, right? Is his Instagram meme account.
Well,
And so
yes.
I feel like we just take directly from the Facebook page and then just repost those same memes to the Instagram account. But we could only we'd have to do it at like a 3-month delay in order to really keep up with the Instagram culture.
Hey, it's all about that content, baby. That hashtag content.
Yeah.
We have to make sure we screenshot it multiple times too, so that it starts losing quality.
Oh yeah, deep fry that shit.
Yeah.
If you, imagine. I'm sure there's a bot that we could basically program to immediately rip memes that are on various subreddits once they hit 100 likes or more, just then schedule a post onto Facebook and then run it through a deep fry filter for Instagram with all the various hashtags.
Yeah,
from the comments that can be found.
Just r/funny. Anything that hits hot, we just repost to Instagram, and suddenly we'll have 500,000 followers on Instagram.
There you go.
That bot will be all fun and games until the inevitable two genders joke from Our Funny makes the front page, and then we immediately get canceled.
Yeah, as you know, as you should at that point. You know, because I mean,
oh, absolutely,
you made a deal with the proverbial devil, but that devil is a bunch of fucking 14-year-olds who are too racist for Facebook, not racist enough for 8chan. They're right in the sweet spot there.
No. They're plenty racist enough for 8chan. They still take getting called a virgin too personally.
Yeah, no, that's spot on. Yeah.
And they're too young to buy a gun and do something about it. So.
Jesus Christ. The 8chan Virgin Wars of 2019 were bloody, brutal, and quick, but God, they left a mark.
Just like those 14-year-olds.
I was about to say, bloody, brutal, and quick. Just talking about my first time.
Gross. So
yeah, we're banned. That means that because we aren't going to be a part of because we only have the Facebook page now, we aren't going to get as many of those Facebook bucks that they're paying.
They're paying all of their employees?
Yeah. We don't even have the stock option anymore either, so...
Can you imagine being that employee who's like, oh, yeah, well, unfortunately, if you want to continue with our company, instead of operating at 40,000, we'll need to knock you down to 32, but you do get a bunch of Facebook bucks. So imagine all the Farmville requests that you can finally start having to send out all over again in 2019.
Resurgence. Oh no, you just play those poker games where they're like, oh yeah, if you play you can win $1 million, and then you just spend your face bucks on the poker game. They
are gonna call it face bucks, aren't they?
Yeah. There's no, you can't what, Facebook bucks, Facebook dollars,
face butts.
That's their cigarette line, actually.
Nice.
Face coin.
God, I hate that.
Yeah, it's all bad. It's all bad. I mean, we have tried to get approved for Podcoin. Are you familiar with that, Bo?
Oh no, I'm not actually.
Well, imagine getting paid hundredths of a cent for every minute that you listen to audio.
Oh wow,
via this app.
That is some real Black Mirror shit. Wow.
Absolutely. And they haven't responded to our request. So I think it's that Daily Stormer email. People just don't respond to it like they should.
Yeah, talk about judging a book by its cover. Jeez.
I'm really into weather updates, okay?
Well, I mean, that's the thing. If you, if you really just immediately canceled everyone who just was even Nazi adjacent, we wouldn't have YouTube at all anymore. So
yeah, and if we kept judging people by their covers, then we would not allow people to have straight pride parades.
Ugh.
We would be against White History Month. Like
Jesus.
Clearly, these people just want to have some sort of culture.
I have some
that they're allowed to celebrate
about all this stuff. we're gonna speak
about how you're for it, right, Bo?
Of course, obviously, yeah. No.
Yeah,
that's why we got you on the podcast.
Because
come on now.
Well, because I'm so straight and have so much sex that straight girls anyway, so yeah, guys, boobs, right? Right, this is audio.
Better fucking hope that there's some boobs. When I'm having sex, it's just me. I'm the boob. I'm the giant boob that's having sex.
Nice.
I can't imagine, or rather, I can imagine Boston Straight Pride Parade, and it's just a whole bunch of cargo shorts and body pillows marching down the street.
One would hope, yeah. God,
what is
like? I think the most terrifying part of any of this is the sheer concept that these people reproduce.
Yeah. I mean,
that's what being straight is about. You cuck. Reproduction. Jesus.
Have 1.5 kids that grow up horribly fucking psychologically traumatized, and a wife that I also hate. And if I don't, I'm basically a fucking soy boy.
It's about having 1.5 children from 3.5 different marriages.
Harsh. That's basically my grandpa.
No.
Talk about an icon of straight pride.
Those are rookie numbers, kid. Gotta boost those.
Yep.
Did you guys see? I mean, I guess having a straight pride parade in Boston is obviously going to be super sucky, especially if Milo is going to be the dancing mascot man.
I'm sorry, Milo who? Right?
Milo Yiannopoulos.
Because he's fucking like broke now, and that's so fucking delicious. I love it. Back to the straight pride parade, though. I think the really fucking as repugnant as the concept is to begin with, because it's 100% like, it's fucking, like y'all said, the moral equivalent of White History Month. It's very like, the basic premise is every fucking dumb truck rant guy's, like immediate thought. So it sucks just on that premise. On top of that, though, the way that it's also organized by these same dudes who fucking what was it? They want to do an anti-Marxist march or whatever.
Yeah, it's essentially the same group that was more or less just kind of striving to create some controversy so that then they can increase donations in their own sort of crowdfunding way. I mean, it really is spiteful when even just the most dickhead racists have to rely on essentially culture warrior GoFundMe for survival.
Other countries have universal health care or authoritarian regimes put in place by American imperialism. We have GoFundMe Nazis.
Yep. Very, very cool, regular, and functional country we live in.
Well, as long as anything can be monetized, if anything can be monetized, it will be monetized. So
well, that's what capitalism does, though. I mean, Pride originally started off as being a riot, and now it's become a month where everyone feels like one particular demographic is catered to because profile pictures change for a little bit, and they realize that it's an actual valuable demographic to try and bleed some extra money from. So it makes sense that then when identity politics keeps on getting played out over and over, especially to this degree, that then certain people may feel ostracized. But I mean, even regular Pride Month has bad shit going on. Those neo-Nazis who decided to crash the Detroit Pride Parade that happened, and then you have cops protecting the neo-Nazis while the cops are wearing pride pins on it. That's not what all this is about. That's not good by any means.
It's almost like if Banksy did it, it would be too subtle. Like it'd be more subtle than this. Like it's so fucking just goofy. Like you watch these videos and you want to say to all these cops, like, do you have like any particular moral compunctions about it? And obviously they don't, because they're fucking there doing their job, But like,
and they're cops.
That too, yeah. that's a whole other can of pork and beans. You just want to say to these people,
good band.
Like, what, like, what the fuck is like your deal? Like, have you sat and thought about this? Like, and again, they're cops, so fucking. They're literally their job is to not sit and fucking think about it. But
it's not a white pride parade unless it's sponsored by Doc Martens and the Thor Steiner Nordic clothing company
and Hellman's mayonnaise. But kind of going back to the whole like the whole notion of it being, you know, like, you know, pride being like a cultural thing and this backlash to it. You know, like, can't even do words right now. Gay pride, you know, being viewed as, oh, it's this huge, you know, like, this is the gays month, you know, fucking, just because you have a bunch of ads doing that doesn't mean there's actually, like, material things working in, you know, in the favor of LGBT people. Like,
when people start talking about, oh wow, you have just as many equal rights as you know we do. Oh, why do you feel like you deserve this special treatment? Earlier this week, there were 2 women assaulted on a London bus because they were lesbian and they wouldn't kiss for these 4 onlookers.
Yeah.
That's how it's become. Is that it's so commodified to the degree that your sexuality is compartmentalized into being this binary format of, well, does it benefit me or not? And if it doesn't benefit me, it must be an antagonist. It must be bad for me. You know, this is one chick I'm not going to be able to have sex with, or this is, you know, if they're lesbian, this is something that isn't sexually gratifying to me. So it makes me mad because I'm entitled to it for some weird fucking reason.
Well, because, you know, like, as these companies fucking commodify this, they are doing the most, you know, fucking Pete Buttigieg, you know, fucking white bread modern family version of, you know, homosexuality and, you know, LGBT stuff in general, that, you know, it's playing, you know, like, of course, like, dipshits feel like, oh, this is outrageous, but at the end of the day, they're really, you know, towing the line of, okay, this is acceptable, you know, like, this is as far as we're gonna go. I mean, you know, fucking most of those ads don't even say, like, LGBT or gay or, you know, lesbian or anything. They just say pride or be who you are. They keep it real fucking vague, and, you know, that's the reason why. They want to, you know, really make sure that it's the most broadly palatable version of LGBT stuff.
I think it's interesting you bring up Pete, because I believe that it's very true that they appeal to the people that think of Pete as the, you know, ideal gay man, which he may or may not be as a contested point. But nevertheless,
I mean, not enough leather in his campaign speeches.
He's not quite as daddy as Chris Evans, but
yeah. Oh well, no one's as daddy as Chris Evans. No,
Pete Buttigieg.
He didn't buy my supplements, and now he's gay, and that's just how it happens.
Oh damn! No, but
he unzips his gimp mask to deliver the State of the Union.
Yeah, no. But no, I think you're right. Like, it very much is. And of course, you know, a lot of that too is, you know, the fucking commodification of the self that happens, especially when you're, you know, in the public eye as a politician. But also, he's just a fucking dork too. So, you know.
And I don't remember if you specifically recall, but during like 2004 to 2012 era is what I remember specifically about the road to marriage equality. And the road to Democrats really hyping up, really banging the drum on let's get gay rights, let's get gay rights, let's get gay rights. Like,
yeah,
the media only sold us this image of like upper middle class white dudes who are gay, who
like
are
conventionally
good for,
attractive,
conventionally attractive, who have money, who have houses and good jobs and work in high profile places and are beneficial to society, beneficial to capitalism. That's what we were sold on. And so now they're just doubling down on the thing that they've already done. So this isn't even them doing anything new. This is like this is like years of investment into creating this image and then reinforcing the image and then shoving the image down our throats again and again and again, which is why it's just like cis white dudes that are sold to us as being LGBTQ, which is why there's not the same sort of support for trans people, which is why there's not the same support for gender queer people, for lesbians even, really. I mean, we have a weird issue with lesbians, which I don't understand. Men feel threatened by lesbians, which, yeah, okay, yeah, you should.
The other lesbians are not taking away your girls. The other lesbians are there for girls that fucking despise you. So, there you go.
Exactly. Yeah. You should be
I don't know about that, guys. I mean, something tells me that lesbian chick might be able to also get her partner to come, and that threatens me.
Every time I come, I think about straight white men, too.
Oh, dude, same. What a coincidence. Hey, also, are you in CrossFit? I got super into CrossFit recently. No. Yeah. But, going back to the straight pride thing, specifically, so people see this, LGBT stuff as like this huge cultural force, and of course that's, threatening to their very boring lives. So they're like, oh yeah, we've got to do a march. On top of all the fucking other, cynical, fucking scummy reasons they're doing it.
On top of the neo-Nazis that are marching, the straight people will also be out.
By having an event called the Straight Pride Parade and, fucking 90% of people not reading past the fucking, headline or whatever, you're gonna have a bunch of those kinds of fucking, not like explicitly political people, but like they're just fucking, going with the status quo and they're fucking morons. Like, you're gonna have a bunch of people.
It's the Charlottesville effect when they call it a free speech it's a free speech rally, and it was not a free speech rally. It was a white supremacy rally, and everyone was like, but people like the New York Times and Washington Post, sorry, Amazon, and LA Times, everybody, all those newspapers that also they bury the lead in their articles. They're like, oh yeah, this, straight pride parade is about straight people. Also, there's a lot of Nazis there, and maybe it's organized by the Nazis and run by the Nazis and paid for by the Nazis. But yeah, it's about straight pride, and this is why you maybe shouldn't go, because that's harmful to us monetizing gays. And while we talk about monetizing gays, we should also probably talk about the YouTube debacle that is ongoing and still happening.
Oh yeah,
somehow.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm personally kind of excited though to think about the New York Times character piece written about the neo-Nazi who had his heart broken when finding out that Steven Crowder's YouTube channel was demonetized. Now that really inspired him to go march in the straight pride parade.
God, what a complex inner world this person has. Yeah.
I'm also excited to see the Onion article that says local neo-Nazi crushed to discover that shirt that he thought contained hate speech actually said figs.
Fucking no, yeah. I think it's really great that, like, because of course at the end of the day it's a fucking video site with fucking whatever you fucking want to put on there. But it is good. A good thing about this is shit like Crowder getting demonetized. Like, if Crowder's the line, like, fucking yeah, great. Even their fucking statement said all it took was language that was clearly hurtful. Which at the end of the day, like, that's a good policy that they have.
What I would like, though, is that they actually have a little bit of a spine, because by demonetizing Steven Crowder, all they're doing is taking out his profit margin on YouTube. They're not taking away his actual platform, nor are they taking away the profit revenue that's generated from people watching his channel as it applies to them.
Oh yeah, from him selling his stupid fucking mugs, from, events, t-shirts. I mean, just sheer exposure. Like, like I said, like earlier a second ago, they're just a video platform. But if I can just contradict myself real quick right here, they're also a fucking video platform. Like, they're huge. They're fucking monolithic. Nobody's saying, hey, I'm gonna go watch my fucking, my homophobic rant videos on Vimeo.
Yeah.
Hell yeah!
Damn, the words
not
from my
not to
mouth.
snipe Vimeo here. Yeah, nothing wrong with Vimeo. I think they do like high quality video really well. I don't fucking know. That seems like a thing for fucking people who
photographers
enjoy art. Yeah, fuck is art. Fuck that. But yeah, like
what is art?
This is
buy
a good
my merch
step.
from Photo Bucket.
Flickr.
Like this is an indication that like maybe somebody kind of gives a shit, but of course it's not nearly enough to fucking undo fucking so much.
Yeah.
It's the stereotypical neo-lib reaction of, okay, well, we'll just make sure he can't make any money off of his hate speech, but he has a right to be able to continue saying his hate speech.
Yeah.
So
on our
it's
servers,
just too little
on our website, on our platform specifically. Yeah.
But in the process of us then demonetizing him, we're actually then going to flag and remove thousands of other accounts and videos, several of which are from journalists who are reporting and giving documentation about the viewpoints of said neo-Nazis from a critical perspective.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing, too. I mean, there's no way they're going to, they as I said, they give a shit, quote unquote, but there's no way they're going to give enough of a shit to actually make sure this thing works,
Which is
you expect us to review this on a case by case basis instead of letting the all-knowing algorithm control what's approved or not? Come on now.
It's I know you've hit on how even the YouTube monetization isn't all of his income. You're not taking anything away from him, so you're not restricting his rights on the platform or what he uses those rights for. He's still making money. He's still he's still making money off of it. He's still getting his videos out there. People can still see it. Advertisers don't have to be tied to it anymore, which is good for YouTube. So you're not
they cover
cutting
their
off his
ass.
cash flow. Yeah, you're not cutting off his cash flow. You're not cutting off the accessibility to it. So at that point, it's your private platform, and this is what you want to allow on your platform. That's all that we can take away from it. They want that there. They either support right-wing politics, right-wing pro-capitalist politics, and they don't support anything from Antifa to outright anti-capitalist politics on their platform.
For every one legitimately hateful channel that they remove, they then remove 5 or 6 channels which were being informative and being on the opposing side of the spectrum, for example, and not saying, oh well, that's why Steven Crowder's video should stay up and he shouldn't get banned at all, but rather saying that they use this as a justification then to keep narrowing down the parameters of what they view as acceptable. Like YouTube may get rid of the Alex Jones channel, but they won't stop Alex Jones from showing up on the Joe Rogan Experience.
Yeah.
They draw their line in the sand in such a sliding scale way.
Which is, it's obvious, from the outside looking in and saying that, hey, YouTube fucking sucks, there needs to be another fucking option, or we need to stop them from picking and choosing a side, I think, is where we should fall.
Yeah. Fucking... you make a good point, like, about just the content being a factor. Like you said, like, if fucking Alex Jones or fucking, Milo Yabba Dabba Doo shows up on fucking, Joe Rogan or something, like... like that's still that same person getting out there and doing their fucking thing. Like, it's all about content, and that content is what's fucking repulsive. It's not the fact that the person's making money off of it, although that does suck on top of it. It's the fact that they're there putting out this hateful shit and, going unchallenged. Not only, the example of Joe Rogan or, similar folks by their host, but by the platform itself. Like, the platform is essentially signing off on it and saying, hey, what you're doing and saying is really cool. Or not really cool necessarily, but they're cool enough with it to fucking keep doing it. So, yeah.
I mean, I know this is a bad one-to-one parallel here, but do you guys remember when Notre Dame was burning and then the algorithm thought that people were posting a bunch of 9/11 truther videos?
Yes, yeah.
God,
I mean,
that's wild.
There are inherent flaws in the system. I mean, it's in the same reason too that recently they had to admit that the algorithm was, acting a little wonky because certain videos with not scantily clad by any means, but slightly revealing clothing of children were for some reason rocketing up the YouTube view counts. They had no idea why. And then when they actually looked at it, they're like, oh, it's because a bunch of known pedophiles are actually watching this.
Okay, yeah, very cool and good, YouTube. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting
they were
how
just seeing it as spikes.
Interesting how the algorithm works sometimes, but
yeah,
only when they aren't actively trying to keep these really fucking horribly problematic things under the wraps.
Yeah.
YouTube itself is a shit-lib neoliberal company, but the algorithm is a hardline right-wing libertarian. So,
The algorithm doesn't give a fuck. It's YouTube that's fucking with it.
The algorithm called me a cuck for liking any of the Halo games past Halo 3, and I'm not sure how to respond to that.
Yeah, it's like it's the little clippy from Microsoft Office 2006 popped up, and he looked at me and he shook his head. And then he jumped back into the like button.
Yeah, I got a message from a bot on YouTube. I was watching something about Mario Odyssey for the Switch, and then the message said, "Hey, why don't you go suck off your wife's boyfriend, huh?" So yeah, this algorithm needs some work for sure. Well, also, yeah, it wasn't okay. So speaking of just YouTube enabling nonsense and all that, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say like this was like maybe a year ago or so, when they kind of overhauled their flagging algorithm for like family friendly stuff. And a whole bunch of
because they have kids YouTube now, and you can set it to kids mode,
and a whole bunch of like not even like not like sexual, nothing like that. LGBT content got flagged. And it's like, all right, so as long as the pedophiles are straight, I guess YouTube's cool with them. Yeah, great. Good job, Internet.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
That was also bad because they would take kids shows and they would just put like clips of people like get it like clips of like horrifying things happening to people in the middle of those videos.
That's a whole other fucking ballpark. Yeah.
Yeah, which the downfalls of the algorithm, obviously, but also just the blatant turn, look away, if we don't acknowledge that we aren't actually supportive of these things that we say we're supportive of, then it just doesn't exist, right?
Yeah.
Obviously. Are you, in fact, calling this capitalist liberal company a bunch of hypocrites, Zach? Is that...
How dare you?
I don't know if I'd go so far as hypocrite, but perhaps cucks.
Well,
man, I really can't wait to upload this video to YouTube.
Jesus. Well, I mean, so like that's kind of the thing. At the end of the day, like, there's no fucking profit motive for them to not to fucking give a shit. So they're not going to give a shit. You know? Yeah.
Until they start losing a market share, they're not going to care because everything is controlled by that goddamn algorithm.
Yep.
Everything we see, we're actively separated, isolated, and then catered to on an individual basis.
Yeah, catered to my ass. We're the ads. Every night before I go to bed, I yell "Free Ferrari now" into my phone, and I've not seen a single advertisement. So.
Oh really? I get those all the time.
Oh, you get all those free Ferrari ads? Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are my mail order bride ads then?
Jesus.
Oh,
which one of
those
you
are
is
popping
getting
up
those?
as the underage girls on YouTube?
Oh no!
Your searches.
Wait. So are you telling me these hot singles in my area don't actually want to fuck? Capitalism, you failed me again.
Where's my free market for free fucking? If we really had a free market, there wouldn't be any incels because somebody would be fucking them.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Yep, and that's how ANCAPs sell their pitch to every 14-year-old on Reddit.
Yeah, not to hang too much on the YouTube thing, but that's another fucking thing, is props on them for getting Crowder, but his show is literally called Louder with Crowder. He is not quiet about his whole fucking thing. Whereas the people who are like...
say the quiet parts, he yells the quiet parts.
Exactly, yeah. Whereas something like fucking, some channel that's all the fucking person's persona. I say person, it's a guy. The guy's persona, with its arms crossed, talking about why child labor should be legal and why, black people are, predisposed to, murdering because of a different bone that they have in their brain or something. Some just absolute wacko dog shit like that. But it's, polite enough.
Well, listen, Stefan Molyneux is a professor. Stefan Molyneux is a professor at a university.
But no, that's essentially what it is. I mean, if you, either if you're coded enough, or you're, not an out and out. If you're not out and out using slurs, Steven Crowder has that "socialism is for figs" shirt with J on it. That's just, utterly detestable. But if that's the bar for what gets, the fucking ban hammer, not even the ban hammer, just gets demonetized. If that's the bar, the fuck are you doing, YouTube? Come on.
Remember the good old days when ISIS was all over YouTube?
Nah, it's cool though. They're cool. Yeah, that's performance art. Yeah.
Okay, you know what? I agree with that. Okay, let's do a vote. Zach again. This is why we have a guest. Opinion on ISIS: yay or nay? I vote yay. Bo?
Well, I think a lot of the stuff they do with the swords is neat. I like their swords.
40 virgins await you, Bo. Side with the sacred Islamic State.
Oh, no.
Again, just to clarify, though, this may be a very pro-ISIS podcast. We still are very anti-ISIL. Fuck those guys. They're not us. What they stand for is not what we stand for. Yeah. Okay?
Okay.
It's a very clear distinction.
We here on Freakonomics.
Oh, Jesus. No.
The Freakonomics episode. Sorry.
No, I would rather be on the fucking ISIS podcast than Freakonomics. Please, I'm begging you.
I still can't wait for the Freakonomics episode where they discuss the pros and cons of chattel slavery.
Well,
now that the paradigm is shifting here in 2020, we just want to say that we are very supportive of the free market solutions that slavery that slavery is bringing to the U.S.
No, they definitely got to code it. They call it alternative employment or alternative remuneration employment. That's what it is.
They would just use the quote directly from Ragnarok.
Oh, is that a fucking thing? Oh shit! Oh no,
the
right?
Slaves, they're revolting.
The Jeff Goldblum, yeah, right.
Don't use the S word. Sorry, the prisoners with jobs are revolting.
Wait a second, we do have that in this country. Well,
yeah, no, literally, I'm pretty sure that is probably actually it's good that prisoners have jobs and are able to reintegrate because they have jobs.
Because they get paid fucking 5 cents an hour to, every fucking made in America thing is just, you fucking know it's prison labor.
In case you thought that we didn't live in a hell world, we do live in a hell world.
Yes.
Oh, shocker.
Hey,
the one thing that I will give credit for the MCU movies, even though they have blatant American propaganda like Captain Marvel was, is that they oftentimes do have hidden messages like Thor Ragnarok with the flaws of colonialism, or with Black Panther and the ideas of interventionism and isolationism as it relates to living in a global world. And I think that it's cool that they're able to incorporate that. It's still very bad because it's a Disney mega corporation that has an over 34% market share on the overall entertainment industry. But,
stop fucking invading these countries. We need the goddamn monetization from selling them their own fucking movies. Jesus Christ. Why do you think we just remade Aladdin? Please don't go to war in Syria. Please, for the love of God.
That's what it is, yeah.
I don't think that's our official stance on the Disney Industrial Complex.
That sounds like a fucking exhausting noise band to attend a show of. God.
My God, that's a great noise band name. What the
fuck? No, that fucking sucks. Fuck you. I'm done. I'm out. I'm off, y'all. I'm done.
You've changed.
The heel turn from ISIS to Disney is what you're
ISIS I can take. Disney, no way. Disney noise bands,
At least ISIS.
I remember when it used to be about the music and beheadings, but the music. I mean, you just got to give credit to a corporation that's able to keep shilling and pumping out the eternal engine that is its products over and over again. When so many shows usually start to suck around the third or fourth season. I mean, cases in point, I don't know if you guys have seen the latest seasons of Handmaid's Tale.
There we go. So I'm sure we're going to dive into, why specifically these things suck, so I'm not going to get too much into it. Because, of course, we're going to talk about that, because how the fuck do people enjoy things, How basic do you have to be to fucking enjoy things?
It's 2019. I have my longboarding channel from 2011, and now I have my angry movie review channel.
There you go.
That's what I'm about.
Really cutting edge shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we will dive into it. I'll try and be objective, but the overall thesis point would be it is it's possible to vehemently dislike a TV show now, not because it's pushing an SJW message.
Oh no.
But almost on the exact opposite point is that this inherent stagnation and stasis that they put the protagonist into. Mm-hmm. So let's go ahead and talk about, first and foremost, Handmaid's Tale. You mentioned that you'd seen the first half of season 1. What led you to lose interest in that?
So a lot of the reason I'm not super into that kind of stuff is the term torture porn is used derisively, but I think also pretty accurately. And Handmaid's Tale, at a certain point, kind of felt like dystopia porn. This is like... It's like if you decided to do like a fucking edgy version of Hunger Games, and that's very good. Dystopian fiction is great, for what it does in portraying a world that, maybe like that's our world, dude. But also when you make it into a TV show and you're soaking it in for, how long are these hour episodes or half-hour episodes? I forget. Okay, yeah. Like, when you're sitting in it for an hour at a time, it becomes, like... this show could be absolutely fucking revolutionary and saying exactly what needs to be said for all intents and purposes, but the fact that you're sitting in, again, dystopia porn, I guess, is what you could call it, for an hour straight, I don't fucking want to do that. I already sit in dystopia porn fucking driving around, going to work. Like, the last thing I need to do is come home.
Gotcha. That's understandable. I think that with Handmaid's Tale, they had initially a good premise. You had a strong creative team developing something in 2015 when it looked like Hillary Clinton was going to win the presidency. So you got to do this whole idea of, well, what if this right-wing movement actually was popular in America, because it's that ignorant shit lib type philosophy of not realizing that we're so much closer to it.
Oh, wait. Yeah, the right wing is in charge, and has been forever.
And so then they did the first season, and it almost backfired in a beautiful way, in the sense of it became incredibly topical. You had people getting dressed up as those outfits during protests, and it became very poignant and of its time. Then the question became, now you're suffering from your own success. How do you follow it up with a second season without devolving into full-blown dystopia porn? Because so much of it was. And the short answer essentially became, you really push into high gear the idea that your protagonist is this kick-ass feminist style hero who's going to start leading the revolution. And then because it's a drama, it then falls into place and it has its normal beats. Now, unfortunately, the show is also produced in a capitalist system, but even worse, an American capitalist TV system, of which there is no true endpoint. So actual character development and growth and plot progression falls to the wayside in favor of thematic shots and twists that essentially give you the idea and feeling of change with no real actual change having taken place. That this,
it's like The Walking Dead. It's
exactly.
Like, hey, you know how they did this one thing and then they survived and then now they have to like continue surviving in this thing? Well, we're going to try to capture that same energy for every single shot of this episode, and we're just going to repeat it twice a season. And you'll just get that feeling twice a season.
So you develop this radical feminist main character who, at the same point, needs to stay mired and bogged down in this society. So you get her pregnant, you have her have a second kid, so that way then she has to make a choice about getting one kid out and one kid has to stay, so then she has to stay, etc., etc. Instead of then, in my mind, actually building out the world. And you have the character grow and develop to where, for example, the first 2 seasons could be focused entirely on this dystopia. But then at the start of season 3, have her escape and go to Canada. But all the problems that exist in that same world of birth rates going down, as Lauren Southern would mention, taking place. In America, that created an idea of a woman just essentially becoming a womb. But what if in another country they interpreted it as the people who can reproduce are the only ones who maintain their rights, since they're the only ones whose genetic material will be passed on down to the next generation. So then you're flipping from the bottom of one caste system to being at the very top of the other. About the idea of in the revolution, what happens when you go from being the oppressed and being a member of the proletariat to then rising up and being a part of the ruling class and someone who then has to be forced to make these shots. What would then become? Are you going to actually move forward into this utopian ideal and try to make it worldwide like Trot would want you to, or are you going to adopt a more Stalinistic viewpoint and focus on, well, I'm going to fix this one country and we're going to make it work from here. We're going to go from peasants, the generation before who suffered under feudalism, to then the generation after me will become spacemen. You know, what way, and no matter the cost, is going to be her methodology. You could explore that, but instead you keep it all singularly focused on, man, it really sucks that we're stuck here. Hopefully we can get out. Until then, oh well.
I just want a Horizon Zero Dawn, Horizon Zero Dawn storyline where it's like techno future, but humanity is reverted back to like agricultural societies where
there's robots, but we don't wipe our asses.
Yeah, where all the children are just like, they're just like, they belong to the tribe. Nobody like has a child. Someone births a child and it's a new member of the tribe. Instead of having like parents that take care of you, you know, it's this utopia where everybody helps take care of the collective next generation.
Yeah, exactly. But then, you know, in season 5 and 6, take it global. Become a Maoist. Go into the third world and see what a lack of reproduction would cause. People aren't going to be able to produce anything. So we're then all of a sudden in the year 2250, our technologies only actually move forward 15 years. Not because we've gotten dumb, but because we don't have third worlders that will accept being exploited anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many aspects that you can work off of that premise for, but instead we stick with this very narrow parameter of, well, how does it affect this what was middle class white woman?
So I mean, you get exactly to the heart of the problem by providing an actual development for the story, like, you know, for The Handmaid's Tale, the book, the original, Margaret Atwood book, like, it's all fucking there in 311 pages.
Yep.
That's not a huge book. Like, that's a pretty quick story, and I haven't read it myself, but fucking, I imagine it's not critically lauded for no reason. With a TV show, with a Hulu TV show specifically, or not specifically Hulu, but the whole new streaming format.
Now Disney TV show.
Now oh Jesus, yeah, that whole fucking train wreck. But with something like this, you can't have it evolve into, oh well, now we're gonna explore the rest of the world. Now we're gonna move forward. Now we're gonna try out something else. With capitalist quote unquote art, or like you were saying earlier with The Walking Dead, if something works, fucking why change it? Keep going. Have another fucking season where it's the same, exact same set of characters. Maybe there's one new one that shows up. Maybe somebody dies. Whatever. Just fucking keep on that treadmill until it stops working, and then panic and fucking shut down the show and make a new one, or hopefully make a good show instead. But yeah.
It's amazing a show like Star Trek can exist, and the more that I delve into it, the more it's like, wow, they tackled these massive issues that were a giant problem back in the day. After hearing myself talk for years about how, wow, our parents should have really addressed this in the 1970s, and voted gay rights in. Why do we have to do it now? This should already be done. This should be a no-brainer, and when everybody's complaining about, marriage is a religious, blah, blah, blah. It's amazing that a show like that got everything so right, and nobody wants to put work in. I mean, I guess it's not up to writers. I guess that I assume that writers aren't good, but it's probably more of the same issue I have in construction. It's like, well, everybody here on this job site can do their fucking job. It's just the idiots that wear the suits and sit in the boardroom don't know what the fuck they're doing. And when they say we want this, all of us are like, no, you don't want that, actually.
Some teamster is there with a hoagie, just like, I think it's real cool how you want to tell a story about us ascending from our bodies and gender becoming a construct, but you have $4,000 to produce this episode, so we can't build any new sets, and it's going to be a bottle episode.
We could just reuse like the set from this other thing that's shooting right now. You heard of Avengers? This is all owned by Disney, guys.
Hey.
Everything is owned by Disney. We can just reuse it. It's already built.
Yeah, but it's built in Georgia, so,
Oh, it's off limits now. Thanks, liberals. Liberal cucks.
Yeah, y'all, Adult Swim as a whole is just fucking canceled now.
Can you imagine how badly it must suck to be a female director? You finally get your shot at heading up your own TV series, and then Georgia fucks you over like this to where then you're now a female director who lost her job and now can't get an abortion.
Yep.
Oh no.
Pretty regular time we're having here. Yep. So. Hey, I'm seeing in the notes, by the way, that there's a bubblegum pop cover of Head in a Hole, or Head Like a Hole.
I'm sorry, Head Like a Hole.
Hey, no worries. Fucking Black Mirror is good now, actually.
Fuck you.
I gotta fucking listen to that, yeah. Holy shit.
The Miley Cyrus episode, people have said, might be the worst episode of Black Mirror ever made.
Oh, that sucks.
And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. That's underselling.
Fuck Miley Cyrus. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Fuck Miley Cyrus. Also, fuck Miley Cyrus, but fuck Miley Cyrus.
No, honestly, no. I think if Black Mirror wanted to really pull it around just if they sucked like 20% more, because that the museum episode from last season was almost this in parts. If they sucked like 20% more, they could sell themselves on like a like kitschy kind of like, oh hey, like we're like the Toxic Avenger, we're like the Room, what's up, we're funny, right? As they are now, though, I mean,
well,
yeah, I don't know.
In every season, I think that there is a one shining example of Black Mirror being good, because that's their Emmys push episode. And then I think they don't give a fuck about the rest.
Let's make the one good
Well,
one.
I mean, last season they had USS Callister, which, speaking of Star Trek, I mean, that was their version of it. And that was brilliant and wonderful. And, I mean, it had Westworld actor cameos in it. So, I mean, I was primed to enjoy it.
Also, that one was written by Charlie Brooker.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's still a part of the show. He's still an executive producer on it.
Yeah, he's just not. He's just is writing the good ones.
Correct. He's no longer. He's an executive producer as opposed to the head writer on it. Because again, that's what happens when Netflix takes a show that releases 3 episodes every 2 years and then wants to start releasing it annually and 5 or 6 episodes in a season. I mean,
it's like when it's like
the whole premise of the Miley Cyrus episode that made it so bad was the fact that there was no real twist in it. It didn't feel like it was a Black Mirror episode. It seemed like it was someone's attempt at getting her getting her just an opportunity to be on Netflix and then promote the show.
Yeah.
Because the Emmy episode was called Smithereens, and that's the story of a guy who abducts. He basically drives for Uber and then abducts a low-level employee of a Twitter-esque company, and then just decides to. It's a whole conversation about that, and that was one of those like, oh, okay, well, yeah, this is good. Then the fun episode that was very campy was Anthony Mackie, who plays Falcon, and his friend, I forget the actor's name, but he played Black Manta on Aquaman. They get into a VR fighting game called Striking Vipers, which is like Mortal Kombat. And instead of fighting, they are one is like as an Asian guy, the other one's as an Asian chick. Then they just start boning and having sex for the episode.
Just like Mario Party. Yeah.
Mario Party all over again.
If you're not slonking, if you're not like just chugging Waluigi's hog by like turn like 12, you're really not playing the fucking game right.
This
honestly.
is not what.
Again, not to be like too gatekeeper or anything.
I don't know what kind of
bad at Mario Party if you're not chugging Waluigi cum within the first 20 turns.
Well, I think that ultimately, considering the fact that like we've spent 4 minutes discussing the real news and nearly 2 hours talking about TV shows.
No, this is a TV podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, enjoy
I mean,
it.
like other really decent podcasts have a reading series that they try to encourage everyone to look into, something from the New Yorker or maybe the Atlantic, where then on the follow-up episode, they'll try and tie things in. I think that we just start a watching series where, we week by week, we at the top just start talking about an episode of TV that we really thought that we enjoyed or that we really hated. It's the only way, really, to keep up in these trying times.
I have lots of TV episodes that I really hate and enjoy.
Don't worry.
At the same time.
Next week, we will be devoting it to Chernobyl, so no worries about that then.
We're going to be like a week late to everyone having seen it and then having gotten really scared about nuclear plants nearby and then Googling nuclear plants nearby. And then freaking out on Twitter and Facebook and being like, oh my God, I live within X miles of a nuclear plant. I'm so scared of dying. And then having a bunch of people jump onto that status and say, nobody died at that accident. 100 people worldwide have died from nuclear accidents. And there have been like 400 cases of of thyroid and throat cancer from the radiation released by nuclear accidents. So fuck off.
What has caused, what's caused more throat cancer? Nuclear energy or eating someone out with HPV?
What has caused more throat cancer? Nuclear accidents or GMOs? Please only eat organic products.
There you go.
That's right. That's the sort of absolutism that we can carry forward into talking about the 2020 Democratic National Committee and the blue no matter who style philosophy. I don't know if...
Look. Oh, yeah. Wait. Y'all are voting for Cory Booker,
of course. Absolutely.
We're all writing him in if he doesn't get primaried. Okay, I wanted to make that clear before we started.
Yang gang.
Oh God.
Yeah. The phrase "blue no matter who" is something that I've started to really see pop up everywhere, even among the quote unquote Bernie bros. If Bernie and Warren split each other's votes, one of them will have to bow out, and that's the person that then we'll go with. And then, if Gabbard and Warren split votes, one of them will have to drop out, et cetera, et cetera. No one seems to have that attitude when it comes to the, 19 middle-aged white guys that are all running and polling at like 1%?
They all look the same.
Beto's not middle-aged. He's like pre-middle-aged, right? Step up.
He's got real drunk uncle energy coming onto the stage.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
He's like the drunk cousin, okay? Like, because you have those cousins that are older than you that are really fun, but like you just don't see them ever. And when they do show up at something, they're always fucking blasted.
No, fucking Beto is the guy who you go to a work happy hour and it's like, how the fuck is this guy like he's like senior management or something? And it's like, how the fuck do you have this job, you incompetent fucking idiot?
Your father-in-law owns the company? Shit.
Oh, that's what it is.
Oh,
yeah.
God damn it.
Fucking
getting on the table, asking everyone to start singing along to "Sweet Caroline" as it plays from his phone.
He's the bump guy. Yeah, he is 100% the bump guy. Fucking, but yeah, like shit like that is why we're gonna all be dead by climate change related floods and or fires at the same time. The fucking floodwater is gonna boil by fucking not even 2050 like they're saying. It's gonna be like 2022. Just fuck it, go for it.
Okay, Zach, do you want to break the bad news again to him, or should I?
Oh no! This whole podcast has just been a fucking sad time.
If you scroll down the notes, it says it's an intervention.
This is and it's the first letter of each line.
When we first started recording this podcast, you were full of light and happiness. Now the bow standing before me, I can barely recognize.
Jesus.
No, the DNC has not only refused to host a climate-themed debate, but they've also threatened that any candidates who go to a third-party climate-themed debates, like a CNN or a Fox News, MSNBC, whatever you want to call it, themed debate, that they would then be banned from any upcoming DNC-sponsored debates.
All right, that's it. I'm buying a gun. It's been nice knowing y'all. You guys have a good one. You might see me on the news. You might see me in the obituary. Y'all have a good one. Discord noise.
No. Bo. That's suicide is not the answer. Suicide bombing is the answer.
Okay. So when I say it last episode, that becomes problematic. But all of a sudden, then when you say it as encouragement directly to a troubled white man about to get a gun.
Like, we were talking earlier about how, like, some twisted shit like, the guy setting himself on fire will happen and it barely gets any news time, not only because the news, fucking thing moves so fast, but just at this point, it's like, oh yeah, that's not even that fucked up, like, compared to everything else that's going on. Like,
compared to my live leak feed.
Let's. Yeah, I'm just gonna fucking build a rocket and shoot myself in the fucking sun. That's what I'm gonna do. But yeah, no, that's incredibly fucked up though. That this is like, to go back to the YouTube example, like, okay, this is what you guys are cool with. This is what you're not cool with. What the DNC is not cool with is discussing climate change. Like, really? Like, that's where we're fucking putting the Overton window.
One singular issue that's actually mobilizing everyone more than any other particular one. For God's sakes, a Democratic governor in Louisiana is the one who passed that 8-week abortion bill. I would think that abortion and women's reproductive rights would be the great unifier of the DNC, but that's apparently not the case. So fuck that noise. But the climate change itself, the fact that we're going to start boiling alive in 12 years. Now, granted, I mean, people start to say, oh, well, it's not going to be, the worst thing in the world starting in 12 years, but in 12 years, that's when
it's already bad. I mean,
we're going to start having climate refugees in 12 years. So all those people who are against immigration, all those where's my Nosbowl gang at? You want to fix the climate.
No, please do not.
You want to fix the climate. So that way, then you can stop that influx of people. From a purely nationalistic standpoint, it's even in that self-interest. But there's for some whatever reason, I mean, the short answer is, corporate donors to the DNC. But
like we could fucking, make sure, like, that we're able to have grandkids. Or, I mean, the guys at Raytheon could buy another fucking gold-plated fucking Jeffrey Epstein.
Hell yes.
So really, it's a 1-to-1,
Eating pizza on the Jeffrey Epstein plane. What's wrong? What's the problem here? Just a couple of cues about that situation.
Oh wait, shit! Actually, is this a QAnon podcast? Because if so, I might actually get my mom to listen to this.
Listen. Like, I'm not going to say.
Totally. Yeah, just send her this clip right here about QAnon and nothing else, please, God.
Well, I'm not going to say whether or not we support it or not, but I will say that when it comes to podcasts, where we go one, we go all. Okay, not to go further down this rabbit hole, but one really fucked up thing. So for context for people who don't fucking whatever, I moved to Oklahoma about a year ago, and I moved up from Texas, and on I-35 going north into you see the sign going south back into Texas. There's a fucking sign. There's a straight ass billboard for QAnon on this fucking major highway out in the middle of nowhere. Yes.
And it is wild that that's a thing. Like, if you ever want a fucking summary of this shit state, not that, it's a shithole country we live in. Like, the fact that there's a fucking QAnon billboard going back into Texas, that screams somebody shooting up their ex-wife's workplace. For
Absolutely.
Sure. Anyway,
shoot more municipal buildings.
That little diversion. I mean, that's what this fucking city's famous for. God, that was bleak. Jesus. Anyway,
I love Oklahoma.
You're fitting right in. My partner is going to be driving up to Oklahoma with her family to celebrate the 4th of July. So I'm going to ask her to take a photo of that on the way back. And I don't want to get too presumptuous.
No, please do.
That may be a new cover photo for our Facebook page.
Well, so the way you recognize it is going into the state, or you're already pretty far into the state by the point you see it. But going north on I-35, on the one side, on the north, or on the side you see going north, there are two signs. One is for like an adult, store. I think Christie's Toy Box is the chain. Also, shout out to our sponsor, Christie's Toy Box.
Promo code.
And then right below that is promo code promo code QAnon. Whatever. And then right below that is a fucking sign advertising the action figure museum that's apparently in the area. I haven't ever stopped in, but it's just so fucking great that you recognize.
How can a billboard that is so against pedophiles be on top of a billboard that is only for pedophiles?
No, yeah, definitely the I think, if this is the fucking world we live in, yeah, fuck it. Yeah, starve us, burn us, fucking climate, do your thing. Or capitalism, do your thing, rather, but,
It's
but
true.
Not to be an apologist, but specifically climate, if you could target the first world nations exclusively, that would be the best. Because, I mean...
that's 100% like solar punk post-apocalypse I want to live in. Yeah. Holy shit.
I want to
The fact that the DNC is actively aiding and abetting this just fucking death cult ideology is, I mean, not surprising, but it sucks. Yeah.
There's larger ideas that I do want to talk about on maybe future episodes, but the fall of individualism, the fall of individual revolution, in the way that stuff like Buddhism has been appropriated by Western culture, in the way that that other philosophies have been appropriated, and the way that people just read Nietzsche and then stop reading philosophy after Nietzsche and never travel the path from nihilism to existentialism.
Nihilism, but I jack off way more.
Reading Nietzsche and then stop reading philosophy is the equivalent of only watching the first 2/3 of Fight Club.
No, people watch the whole fucking movie and are still stupid, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Fine. It's like people who read the first 2/3 of The Game without realizing how that fucking story ends.
God. The people who only read the first 2/3 of Old Yeller. They're like, yeah, Old Yeller was a good book. It was what? Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
That dog's so...
I remember the first time that I had actually seen the ending of Fight Club and paid attention to it was I was losing my fucking mind on narcotics in Kelton's apartment.
Oh, fun.
And I was watching the two halves of him coming together and that shot where you can see them coming together, just losing my entire face. It was just gone.
Do you remember when we were losing our minds and decided to watch that super light film, Old Boy?
Yes.
Oh no. Oh no. That's not good.
We were like, what's this show about? And Ray was like, you'll see, it's so good. We were like,
did y'all fucking follow that up with a quick light viewing of Funny Games? Just to, really... Yeah, get a load of me fucking talking out like torture porn and then citing Funny Games later in the fucking
Exactly.
show. Yeah, no, just abuse legal substances like me, and then fucking drunk drive your car straight through the fucking front door of a Howard Johnson's. Come on,
hell yes,
this is America.
That is the right attitude.
Hell yeah,
have.
brother.
That's the only way to stick it to the man. You hear that? Violence with your car, everybody. That and guns and suicide bombing and joining ISIS. That's what this podcast is about now, apparently. So, Jesus. Are you an angry, impressionable teenager who is also a fan of Fight Club? Well, have we got the YouTube algorithm approved recommendations for you?
There you go. Oh, wow, we're edgy. Yeah. Yeah. Fucking, well, so, not to get too off topic, but I really like the way that a lot of, tech, I mean, of course, tech is filled with, just absolutely, in best case, clueless liberals, like we were talking about earlier, worst case, libertarian reptile men. But there has been a lot of good labor shit coming out of game development studios, Riot, for instance, and also Vox fucking had a walkout which is, I mean, that's
hell yeah, they won their bargaining agreement. Go Vox!
Yeah, they're unionized now. They're unionized now.
Oh, that fucking rules.
I mean, and because I know it's not a 1-to-1, but I mean, the Onion became so much more funny once they unionized, and the writers felt a sense of stability.
They've been rocking shit out, yeah.
And that's why the Babylon Bee sucks.
The Babylon Bee is fucking so thoroughly reactionary, and I could do a whole fucking half hour on those scumbags. But yeah, no, it's good to see. I mean, as you know, as a certified how do I even put this, soft-hearted internet dipshit myself. I love Polygon content specifically.
Ooh, yeah. I've always been more of a Verve man myself.
Oh well, Verve away then. No,
you can Verve out of here at that shit.
Hey, Verve the fuck out of my office, all right?
Gizmo, don't talk to me.
But like, yeah, like it's good to know that these skinny dorks who are fucking making things that, you know, keep me from being too depressed on a day-to-day basis are getting, you know, their fucking voice heard in the workplace. So yeah,
it's truly a wonderful time where we get to laud companies for treating their workers like human beings. Go,
yeah, the bare goddamn minimum.
Exactly.
Wow, way to go above and beyond.
You're amazing. It's like with Apple, with their sign in with Apple feature that they're trying to use to replace, you know, the Facebook or Gmail as the unofficial key to the internet and sign in on everything.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Apple,
instead of learning how to use single sign-in like handles and secured encrypted bit codes to sign into everything, you can just use your thumbprint on your phone.
That's right. And we won't sell your data to the highest bidder. Yeah. See? Applaud us for not doing that. We're a good company.
Capitalist. We have to actually find the lowest bidder to make sure that, you know, that nothing good actually ever gets done with your data.
There you go.
In fact, we will actively buy data on you from other companies. To use for what reason? Don't worry about it. Anyways, we're coming out with a new streaming service. The
streaming service is just it's just 2 hours of people's fucking thumbprints released once a week.
If it's just
somehow they're banking
on the screen of username and password.
30 million people don't watch this pilot, we are going to start doxing people.
Some dipshit consultant they hired, because of course there's always some fucking dipshit consultant who gets paid fucking $400,000 a year or something.
Oh, that's modest.
Decided that thumbprint fetishes are going to be I mean they're really struggling there. Thumbprint fetishes are going to be the big thing for 2020, and you know, Apple decided to get ahead of it.
Fuck sending dick pics. Start sending heat thermal images of your thumb to a girl.
Well, that's the thing. I unlock my phone. I press my left testicle up against the sensor.
Oh yeah.
Not the right one. The left one's luckier somehow. And I mean, other than the cancer I'm getting from the cell phone, like it's a real secure form of unlocking my phone. Because God forbid somebody get in there and like delete my memes or text my fucking ex or something. Because I don't do that. I'm totally normal. I'm a very cool and normal guy.
Even though that bitch is the last one I texted.
Really awkward not to unlock my phone.
Who wants to get a hold of those death threats while I'm whipping my nuts out to unlock my phone in the middle of a Wendy's?
As I'm sitting there angrily in a parking lot with a firearm in the passenger seat, angrily texting my ex about how I'm going to join ISIS.
I may not be allowed within 500 feet of a school, but God damn it.
But you're allowed within 500 feet of my heart.
You think this has a range of 600 yards?
Oh, no. Jesus Christ. Fuck that. Oh, my God. Yeah, no, as one of y'all wrote in the show notes, there is no ethical streaming under capitalism. There's no ethical unlocking your phone with your nuts under capitalism.
There is no ethical logging in under capitalism.
Picture of Sonic the Hedgehog coming on the text. There is no ethical consumption under capitalism. Just busting a fat, just throwing ropes on that text.
Man,
like
going on.
Yeah, Google sucks, Apple sucks, all these fucking companies suck. Whatever.
Yep. And it's a point where we gotta fight the power. We can't let Google control our lives, so that's why we're gonna switch to streaming on Twitch from our iPhones, because that's better,
There you
right?
go.
Yeah, we have a choice, but
remember, since we have a Facebook page, we can stream on Facebook and get paid in Facebook.
Oh, that's what we'll do. Yeah.
Facebook.
Oh yeah,
we'll have Zuckerberg himself sitting up there like a fucking Roman emperor, giving a thumbs down whenever we make a poop joke. That's what it is.
Oh,
I can only imagine if we ever had the balls to start streaming onto Facebook. Oh, that would be the most cancerous thing alive, I think.
Well, once we get a Patreon going and we can use it to pay for a subscription to an actual audio program.
Yeah, we get $7 a month from Patreon, and it costs about $45 a month to keep this operation running. So,
well, if somebody would fucking subscribe, to the $50 fucking tier, where it's just me making furry fetish porn, then it might be worth it. But apparently not.
Careful.
Nobody wants to buy my fucking clay art.
Oh, it's clay now.
Well, you gotta really, put yourself in your own particular niche, and apparently furry porn isn't niche enough anymore. So, yeah, now I'm going down to local community college, breaking in, around 3 or 4 in the morning, and firing up that fucking kiln.
I'm just picturing it's the scene from Ghost with you molding clay with a furry behind you.
A buff fucking werewolf sitting behind me, embracing me, like, no, this is how you do it. And I'm like, oh yeah, no, that's way hotter. Yeah. Perfect.
Oh, that's gorgeous. Okay, guys. Well, I think that pretty much does it for an episode. So, any closing thoughts before we head on out of here?
This was very good, and I hope to be back at some point. Of course, not to fucking I need this, guys. I need anything, please. I'm begging you. Give me some of that furry porn Patreon money.
I don't know. We have such a long backlog of guests that we've been hoping to.
No, my takeaway from all this is we live in a hell world, and we've got to make things better. Please, God, give me this shred of fucking optimism. No, optimism's canceled. I'm done, y'all. Anyway, how about you guys?
We regret to inform you that optimism. Some allegations recently came out about it, and it is in fact canceled.
Optimism had some questionable YouTube videos.
Optimism liked a tweet that I made, actually, in 2012, and I mean, I was a fucking libertarian in 2012, so there you go.
Liked by Optimism, Ron Paul's sock account, Ron Paul 2020, yeah. God Emperor Ron Paul.
Oh, that's not a good crossover.
That's a bad time, yep.
Yeah, I guess my only real closing thought is sorry we didn't talk about whatever the major news happened Monday morning. We're recording Sunday night, so when this comes up late Monday, first thing Tuesday, just be gentle with us, okay?
I was joking about it, but I guarantee the president's going to shit his pants in England, and it's going to be just absolutely... It's so funny the way he does it. He, slips on it or something, and now we're just going to look like idiots. So
we're going to look like idiots if we don't applaud when he does it, because he's out there doing that for America.
Americans, not only clap when the plane lands or when movies end, but also when the president shits his pants and dies.
No, guys, we have to think about QAnon, okay? The president, he shit his pants because it's actually a reference to the current opioid epidemic, which is causing massive constipation among people. So he's causing a signal to let people know that he is in fact free and clear and thinking about us. It's the only way for him to confirm that he has not been dosed while taking a trip abroad.
Oh, Jesus. I really thought we got all the poot jokes out beforehand, but no, we got to bring them back for the end, huh?
All right.
Bookend this
shit. Guys, I'm going to end with the word I've always ended with, but it's especially applicable right